It says here, basic mitzvah is to eat the flesh of the Korban Pesach the night of the 15th of Nisan, right? According to the Pasuk, the way Rashi has it, when is the mitzvah start of eating Korban Pesach? At Shkia. It's a Mefurish Pasuk in the Torah. Kivo HaShemesh, right? Which means sunset. That's when you start eating Korban Pesach. Even if you took a Yontif early, you cannot eat Korban Pesach before sunset. You'd say Kiddush, like every other Shabbos Yontif, but you can't eat Korban Pesach. And if one is waiting for Hari of Shemesh because he went to the mikveh today, he has to wait until Tzeis. Right? Hari of Shemesh means wait until Tzeis. Fine. And you have to eat it with maror. V'amar below Pesach, ain't no mitzvah. If there is no Korban Pesach on the table, there's no mitzvah of maror according to the Torah. We pointed out in the Trup, it says, Tzli Eshu Matzot, comma, Al Miburim Yocheluhu. Right? So what does that mean? That means Tzli Eshu and Matzos are in one category. That's Korban Pesach and Matzah, or mitzvahs d'oraisa. Al Miburim Yocheluhu. And the Korban Pesach should be eaten with maror. So according to the Trup, it's saying maror is in a different category than the matzah. Matzah is always a mitzvah, even without Korban Pesach. And maror is not. Maror is connected to Korban Pesach. That's what the Rambam is getting this. Okay? Getting from this. And the sages instituted that we eat maror if we do not have Korban Pesach. Which means that when all these Siddharim outside of Jerusalem and without Korban Pesach, the maror is just a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Nafkamina la'alacha, not really. You also have to keep the rabbinic mitzvahs, right? Halal is also a rabbinic mitzvah. Good. By the way, we're in the 8th parak, right at the beginning of the 8th parak. Okay? Next, he says here, you're supposed to eat the mitzvah and minfkar. Minamufkar is achilas basar pesach, achilas sova. That means you're supposed to eat your chagiga first. Okay? Fill yourself with chagiga, and then eat a kazayas of Korban Pesach. That means Korban Pesach should be eaten when you're already satiated, or if all you have is Korban Pesach, so you eat it to satiety. Years ago, Gavriel pointed out that when it says that the Kohanim eat the Kadshe Kachim La Sova, Achi La Sova, it meant something else entirely. It's a different standard. It means they eat it with other things. So that's respectable. You don't just eat the Kachim straight up. They eat their Kachim in sandwiches, and they have condiments and salads with it. Okay? Kohanim don't just eat the meat straight up. You knew about this? Compared in Ma'aser Karbanos, we mentioned it in its place. Thank Gavriel for showing this to us because, he would give the Rambam even more arguments than the Ravid. Looking in the old manuscripts and according to Rishalmis and things like that. So, he also has, go check out the Open Haggadah, open source Haggadah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
It's very good. Wonderful.
So there you go. So that's what he points out. And this year there's no Chagiga. How am I certain there's no Chagiga? Yes, Chagiga is not brought on Shabbos. The Rambam has a line over here.
Well, it's from the Mishnah.
What?
It's from the Mishnah.
It's from the Mishnah. The Rambam's quoting the Mishnah. And he included this Mishnah in the Chagiga. Because when it comes time to eat Chagiga, it's part of the Seder there. But the problem is, we don't want to confuse the children. So it's like, why is there no Chagiga? Okay? It says in Haggadah to have a Chagiga. It's part of the Seder. And the answer is, E'amatai mevi'ini mo Chagiga. Bizman shehu bachol, uv Torah, uv muat. Means you have the 3 conditions. It's a weekday, not Shabbos. The day of bringing the Korban Pesach, that is. And you did it b'tara, which is almost not going to be available. The only way you can have Korban Pesach b'tara is if we get this paraduma thing going like now. And everybody gets sprinkled.
The Pesach is still fit
Tuma. But the Chagiga is not.
Right.
Okay? Uva muat. When you don't have enough Pesach meat to go around. Okay? 50 people, 1 lamb. Maybe not everybody's going to get a substantial portion. 10 people, 1 lamb. Oh, and the answer to the other question, the rabbi here is arguing that you have the groups. Okay? You have to have minimal groups. 30, 30, 30, right? So you need 50 people somehow to make that. The Rambam describes the groups. Does everybody who comes into the base of Mikdash at Korban Pesach time have to bring a lamb? It means a minimum of 50 Korban Pesachs in order to get it going. And Rabbi Weber says, no, you have bystanders. He said, what if 1 million people want to come into the Azara? and only a few people have Korban Pesach. He says if it's going to be too crowded, priority to those who actually are bringing goats. But in Achinami, once you have people in the Azara and they haven't locked the doors yet, there's still room, bystanders could come in. I said, yeah, Raya Ladavar, like we saw regarding Yom Kippur. It says in Yoma, Kohen Gadol shows up in the morning, the Azara is full of Jews. How many of those Jews bring korbanos on Yom Kippur or other chagim, for example? There's a lot less korbanos offered on Yom Tiv, and especially on Yom Kippur. No korban is offered on Yom Kippur except for that which the Torah demands that the Kohen Gadol process on behalf of the tzibur, right, and himself. Well, actually, Kohen Gadol brings his own, like a korban for himself and his wife, and a korban for himself and the rest of the kohanim, right? But aside from that, no one's going to bring their own personal chatos or nadarim and nadavos and things like that. It's Yom Kippur. Yet the Azara is full of Jews. Are they helping the avodah in any way? No. And it says Kohen Gadol is going to say God's name the right way, and even though it's packed, right? The Azara is packed when they say God's name. Well, when Kohen Gadol says God's name, but what happens? They're going to bow down. They're going to find themselves a lot of room. So you see, this is a precedent, even for the Jews who do not bring sacrifice. The Beis Hamikdash is open to them, even when there's no chance they're bringing sacrifice. Okay, Yom Kippur Yochiach. Okay, so let's see the next thing. Similar mitzvah to eat what? Pesach Sheni. When do we eat Pesach Sheni? Pesach Sheni, yeah, on the 15th. It's offered on the 14th of Iyar. And Pesach Sheni has some other commandments to it. Pesach Sheni isn't done every year. It's only when, once again, Pesach Rishon happens properly by the majority, the Torah. If Pesach Rishon happens, but not perfect, so there's no Pesach Sheni. Okay? And it has to be roasted, he says in halacha here. What about this halacha? Let's say a person didn't listen to what I just said. He ate of Korban Pesach early, miba'od yom. That means what we said. The Rambam always means miba'od yom means before sundown. He ate Korban Pesach early, but it was raw or it wasn't roasted, not fully cooked, or it was cooked but not roasted. So he will not be lashed for that. Okay, 2 wrongs make it that he's in the clear. He ate it the wrong cooking form, and he ate it while it was yet day. So now he will not be lashed. So now when it's a mitzvah to eat it roasted, that's when he's liable for eating it partially cooked or cooked. But if it's daytime, he actually tastes Korban Pesach, see if it's properly roasted. So he will not be hit with a penalty for that. Still forbidden, but he's exempt. What if he eats roasted? He actually tastes properly roasted Korban Pesach while it's still day. Avar mitzvah say, okay, because achlu basar b'layla zeh has to be eaten at night. The love abam miklal say asehu. Okay, good. Maybe we should go into this Bach. This is an interesting one that had to do with this. This is I'll say it outside. This is for those guys in California. We mentioned how chashecha means ben hashmashos. Okay, chashecha techshach starts with shkia and ends at seis. That's why sometimes techshach, it means, if you're talking about the starting point, it means shkia. You say after techshach, it means after seis. Techshach is a future tense verb meaning getting dark. Chashecha means getting dark. It's like a present tense verb. It's the feminine of chashech. Techshach is the future tense. They're both feminine. From choshech. It equals ben hashmashos. The Bach addresses a shaila that someone could have asked in Hilchos Shabbos. It says in the Mishnah, Safek chashecha, Safek lo chashecha. Chashecha means ben hashmashos. It is the ideal Safek time. Why are we telling me if it's Safek, it's a ben hashmashos or not? That's redundant. So the Bach answers, no. You would have had a Havamina before they had clocks, before we had watches, before we had a phone that tells you the exact time all the time. What if it was a really cloudy day? You don't know if it's ben hashmashos either. Safek chashecha. I don't know. I had an hourglass or something. Okay. Last time the sun peaked, we saw it was noon on the sundial, and now it's been quite a while. Erev Shabbos. No one's seen the light of day. We know it's Definitely not so dark out. It's not safe. I don't know if it's Ben Hashmashos yet. I don't know if the sun went down. That's Safik Hashecha. Safik means if he's Mesupak. That's when he doesn't do these things. Ain Tomnin, as a Chamin, etc. That's what the Bach is addressing. And once again, the Bach, read here, is Mekayim, what we were trying to say all along. When Chazal referred to Hashecha and Techshach, we're talking about a span of time, which they also call Ben Hashmashos, the ideal time, which goes from sunset to Tzesach Chavim. Questions about that? No. Okay, good. So this is not our last meeting before Passover. Far from it. Well, God willing, even though we have B'dikas comments to do next week, this time, we're still going to try to do our thing, get ready for Pesach. So may we hope that already by this time next week, everything that we talked about in theory will become actual practice. The destruction of the enemies, rebuilding the temple, reestablishment of the service. Well, we'll already be counting up to day 7 for purification with the ashes of Paraduma. And we'll be able to have a proper Korban Pesach this year finally.
Amen.
Amen. Be good, everybody.